All right. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Terry O'Neill. Today's telecast was produced by Larry Cirillo, co-produced by Jeff Hine, directed by Andy Rosenberg. NBC Sports Update was produced by Ricky Diamond, directed by J.D. Hansen. Technical directors Mike Stremiski, Jim Johnson, and Richard Sansevier, and the news producer John Gilmartin. Be sure to join us tomorrow here on NBC Sports for Al McGuire's Championship Special, beginning at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Al will present his All-America team and take a special look at Georgia Tech sensation Kenny Anderson. At 2 o'clock Eastern Time, 1988 Olympian Michael Carbajal will take on Raul Acosta in a battle of junior flyweights. Following boxing, we'll return to Mission Hills for 3 hours of live coverage of the final round of the Nabisco Dinah Shore. So for Johnny Miller, Mark Rawlsing, Joel Myers, Bob Trumpy, Marlene Floyd, Mary Bryan, Nancy Lopez, our hostess, Dinah Shore, I'm Charlie Jones. Be sure to stay with us tomorrow for 3 hours of coverage of the Nabisco Dinah Shore. So long, everybody.
Number 14 is a par 3, 164 yards downhill. It's an intimidating hole because there is water right and bunkers left.
Just below the hole about 18 inches.
So Jack Nicklaus will tap in for yet another 8 under 64, which ties the course record that he set along with Larry Ziegler yesterday. 27 under par, a new senior 72-hole scoring record. Trevino wanted the golf ball. And let's go down to Bob Rosberg.
Jack, it's a little tough to compare Durban Country Club and the Mazda TPC with the Open and Medina, but you have to really feel good about the way you played going into the Open.
Well, Rossi, obviously I played well. I mean, I didn't dream that I was going to play that well this week, and what really the best part of my game was my putter. I just putted fantastic all week, and I think these greens are going to be quite similar to the speed at Medina. I don't think they'll have you know, glass fast greens at Medina. They'll be just a tad faster than this, but not much. And that really, you know, it's got in my head that I can putt, and that really made me feel good. And of course, I drove the ball pretty well most of the week, and my iron game was good. And yeah, I'm looking forward to Medina. You're darn right.
We'll see you down there, Jack. Good luck.
Okay, Ross. Thanks.
Jack Nicklaus, who, when the putter's working, it's a very special feeling. And Jack in his third senior tournament, now with 2 victories and a 3rd place. His senior earnings just under $300,000. And this was a man that was a little bit reluctant, Peter, about coming out on this senior tour. But I think winning will turn that reluctancy into more appearances out here.
Especially winning tournaments with $1 million in prize money. But I don't think Jack was never a player to compete week in and week out. But I think he'll play another 3 or 4. It depends how he goes next week at the at Medina for the Open Championship. But I think he'll play another 5 or 6 this year at least.
Jack Nicklaus in a battle with Lee Trevino. It was a no contest today. Nicklaus wins by 6. After winning Augusta, there was talk of a Nicklaus Grand Slam. On Sunday, he was 7 shots back when he teed off with Arnold Palmer. He came to 16, needing 3 pars to shoot 286, 2 over, but he bogeyed 16. He also bogeyed at 17. And then at 18, yet another bogey, that for 289, 287 eventually tied for first. Frank Beard led by 3 shots after 54 holes, but a last round 78 didn't do him any good, with bogeys at 16 and 17 to miss the playoff by a shot. John Mahaffey finished early with 287 and sat back to wait for the others to finish. Ben Crenshaw, with a haircut the Beatles would have enjoyed, needed only to par the last 2 holes to win. But at 17, he hit a 2-iron fat. He makes 5, and goodbye. Luke Graham came from nowhere. Well, actually 11 shots back after 2 rounds, the biggest comeback in Open history, and this birdie at 14 gave him the lead. His second shot at 18. He finds the right greenside bunker. This putt for par. This putt for the victory, and it comes up short. So, it was a Monday playoff between Graham and Mahaffey, and he came to 18 with a 2-shot lead, found the trees, but hit a beautiful shot in. And even though he wasn't that close to the pin from where his tee shot landed, that was a tremendous effort. Now, Mahaffey found the fairway. And his second shot leaves him with a very makeable birdie putt. A bird by Mahaffey, a bogey by Graham, and it would be tied. This chip by Lou Graham runs well past the hole, and his par is in doubt. John Mahaffey now with a chance for birdie and to make Graham's par putt look even longer. But the Texans' effort just misses. And Lou Graham now with the luxury of 2 putts from 6 feet to win. And he confidently rolls in his par putt for his first and only major championship, the 1975 U.S. Open at Medina.
It meant a lot of things down through the years, to not only to me but to my family, and every day I walk to the tee that announced me as a former United States Open champion, so that means a lot right there.
Curtis Strange had made a promise to himself to one day win the U.S. Open in honor of his father, the father who had taught him the wonders of the game of golf, then died too young. He fulfilled that promise on Father's Day, 1988. The next year, he had others in mind, his wife Sarah and their children, Tommy and David, and Curtis did it again, won his second straight U.S. Open championship. And now, in 1990, he plays for himself to become only the second man in 95 years to win 3 in a row. This birdie on the 18th green on Friday kept him in the contest. And yesterday, this one on the treacherous 17th brought his goal within sight. Now, he could make out the shadowy form of Willie Anderson just ahead. Willie Anderson, the only man to win 3 in a row. A short time ago, Curtis teed off into whatever destiny awaits him in the final round. And off he went, continuing the strange quest, chasing the ghost of Willie Anderson down the fairways of Medina.
Don't think that golf is just a game. It's something much more grand. Now we'll watch the best face up to the test in the championship of the land.
This game brings a lot of men fame like we met. Francis scored an upset when he beat the 2 British elite. The U.S. Open, the show was a smash from the start. Bobby Jones
Gave it soul
and a hard house of lines. He won 4 in his time. The U.S. Open. The golf has been great and has left us impressed.
a Hagen,
A Hogan, they've all reached the crest. The course will be a stiff test. Nowhere could it be finer.
then here at Medina.
The rough will be high as a kite, and the greens will be faster than light. Don't forget that the fairways are tight. It's golf's greatest show. The show is the splendid U.S. Open.
ABC Sports and the United States Golf Association welcome you to the playing of the National Championship of American Golf, the final round of the 1990 U.S. Open Golf Championship.
And now we would like to present this unique star-studded event in your home
Or in your corporate tent.
the U.S. Open. The scene on your home TV screens will be played. and said, like the plucky Tom Kite, it could be funny and bright. The chap who waved a towel and caused us all to howl. And now, as the golfers commence the fourth round, with the air sharp intent, we will say, without any pretense, it's God's biggest show, the world of the splendid U.S. Open, the U.S.
Yes, it's the final round of the Open Championship, and this is Medina on a gorgeous summer afternoon with another great crowd gathered. The sun shines, the wind is up. That means that the final question on American Golf's annual examination paper will be a difficult one. 68 students of the game are taking the exam, and here are the current leaders. Billy Ray Brown and Mike Donald, of course, they haven't started yet. Neither have Tim Simpson, Larry Nelson, Jeff Sluman, or Mark Brooks. So many just behind them. All of these, except Fuzzy Zeller at the bottom at 5 under par. Strange and Norman, Faldo, Olazabal of Spain, Mike Reed, Steve Jones. Steve Jones 6 under on today's round. To the right of the screen, of course, the number of holes that they have played. Larry Meisen, Chip Beck, Mike Hulbert, Scott Hoke, Scott Simpson there. Tom Seekman and Jack Nicklaus, 3 under par. Well, good afternoon. I'm Jim McKay reporting from Medina.
Because he knows what he's got left there is straight downhill.
Now, just a moment ago at 18, this was Hale Irwin. This very long putt for birdie over the hump in front of him.
His putt's about 60 feet.
Hale Irwin goes to 8 under par.
That's the fastest he's moved since he played football in Colorado.
And that might be as excited as Hale Irwin has ever been on a golf course. There's the number. It's now been posted. 8 under par. Hale Irwin with a round of 5 under 67, and he'll be able to sit back and watch.
Coming up next on Eyewitness News.
Well, Bob Murphy, let's check the field now alphabetically. Billy Andrade, he was 1 under par earlier, finished up with a 75.
Sal played well. Good score, 72.
Seve, 3 over par. Andy Bean at 12 over par. Chip Beck finished up at -1. J. Don Blake at +5. Bob Boyd at 2 over par. Britton at even par. Cal Cavecchia, how about in the majors this year? Tied for 20th at the Masters, missed the cut in the U.S. and the British Open, and 5 over today. Crenshaw in with a 74. Mike Donald involved in that playoff at the U.S. Open, a 76 today.
Jay Delsing got in the tournament, Jim, when Ken Green missed his tee time this morning. He read his tee time in the USA Today, and they printed the tee times East Coast time, and Ken Green missed his tee time because we're an hour earlier here in Birmingham.
David Frost in with a 76. Ray Floyd even par now. He was at 1 under. He bogeyed, so he trails by 4.
He's going along well, though. Even par is a very good score first round. Gomez continues to play good golf. A couple under par. Bob Gilder, nice score, 1 over. Wayne Grady, good score as well.
Hubert Green, a 74, a member here at Shoal Creek. Hoyt, Hulbert, Hungate hanging in. The young man, 4-time Indiana State PGA champion out of the Kokomo American Legion Golf Club. Went to Ball State. Scott Hope, 78.
I'm proud of him. He got through past a couple of tough holes there on the front.
Hale Irwin, 5 over 77 today.
Mark James, excellent player on the European circuit, 2 over par.
Davis Love, Mark Lai, both in at even par. Mark with the only eagle in the first round. That was at 11 earlier this morning. And your friend Mahaff, a 75.
Billy Mayfair, well done this morning. Out early. Posted to 2 under. Lonnie Nielsen, club professional. Real good player.
Jack Nicklaus, who designed the golf course, a 6 over 78. Ball finished 1 over par. They had that 1 bogey today at 17. Ozaki, a 75. Jerry paid at +1. Steve paid at -1. Radar at the bottom. Mike Reed, a 1 under 71. He was in the house early.
He'll be a man to be dealt with before the week is out.
Rummels was at 2 under par earlier today. Finished up with a 73.
Very good player there. Eduardo Romero stumbled in with a 10 over par. Surprised.
Stadler, a 75 for the former Masters champion. Al Sutton an even par 72, and Tennyson in the clubhouse at -1. Trevino a 77. Lanny Watkins birdied 17 and birdied 18 to finish up with that 74. His brother Bobby leads the tournament at the end of the first round, and Fuzzy at even par, only 4 back. There's our leader. He earned his tour card in the fall of 1974. He's 20 months younger than brother Lanny. Bobby Watkins leads. Second round live coverage continues tomorrow. We'll have 4 hours for you at 1 o'clock and at 5 o'clock. But right now, it's the young man out of East Tennessee State and the Brander Mill Country Club in Richmond, Bobby Watkins, your leader. For Bob Murphy, Ed Sneed, and all our ESPN ABC golf team, I'm Jim Kelly. We'll see you at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. We are back at Shoal Creek on a golf course designed by Jack Nicklaus. As you check that scoreboard, let's quickly correct a Jack Nicklaus score from a 6 to a 4 way back on the 11th. So Nicklaus now is at 7 over par, and if he pars in, Bob Murphy, he could make the cut.
Well done, Jack. All you have to do is change your score, I guess. Well, Wayne Grady only missed 1 green, and I think he's a force to be reckoned with. I said that earlier, and I'll say it again. Ken Simpson's playing awfully well, and Freddie Couples seems to be able to come back from his mistakes. Get back on track with birdies.
Dave Rummels was under par until he shot a 40 on the back 9 yesterday. He's in at 2 over par now after 36 holes. Bob Tway, former PGA champion, at +4. Jeff Sluman at +3 after 36 holes. Stadler, the former Masters champ, at +4. Sammy Rachel's one of 3 club pros who will be around out of Spring, Florida, at +4. Kerry Hungate out of Kokomo, Indiana, at +5. And Jim Blaine out of Ogden, Utah, at +5. The other club pros out of the 40 in this championship that have survived the cut. And again, Bob, that cut looks like it's at 7 over par.
Yeah, and I see Bob Ford's name there as well. Club professional, he'll make the cut.
Jerry Pate at +6. David Graham also at +6. A lot the ball in. Nicklaus, again, they corrected his score from a 6 to a 4 back at 11. He's at +7. He can make the cut. Likewise, Ozaki, Bruce Litsky's at +8, will not be around. Trevino at +8 has hit the highway. And, of course, he won here in 1984 at 15 under par.
Jerry Pate, we saw hanging on at 6 over par.
Mark Calcavecchia at +10. Everybody, of course, chasing this man, Wayne Grady out of Brisbane, Australia. A 5 under 67 today. 6 birdies and 1 bogey. He's got a 1-shot lead. Don't forget, ABC Sports live 3rd round coverage and final round coverage on Sunday at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. Come on back to Shoal Creek. They've got a great leaderboard. And ESPN next week, the golf trail continues. The International live from Castle Rock. Thursday, they'll see it up at 5 o'clock. Sports Center coming up next. Robin Roberts. She'll be at the controls. And what a great 36 holes we've had. Our thanks to our ABC Golf colleagues for a great 2 days. For Bob Murphy and Ed Sneed, I'm Jim Kelly. Don't forget ABC Sports tomorrow.
ABC Sports and the Professional Golfers Association of America proudly present the final round of the 1990 PGA Golf Championship. We're at Shoal Creek, just outside of Birmingham, Alabama. This golf course nestled into this beautiful valley, heavily wooded, but the trees are not causing the problems for the golfers this week. The problems? The heavy and deep Bermuda rough. In some places up to 6 inches, but the par 5s are reachable in 2. But as you see here, with some big gaping bunkers, not only do you have to deal with that heavy Bermuda rough, but also the sand that is lying within. And hi, everybody, and welcome to our final round coverage of the 72nd PGA Championship. Along
Barrett said those 2 putts run your score up.
Wayne Grady, lead 2 under par.
Wisely done. He could not shoot at that flagstick.
No cinch bogey, though.
No, he's putting up that ridge, and so he may well have to settle for a 5 and a drop stroke, so things are hotting up. Don't go far away.
5 of Jack Nicklaus's 18 victories in major championships as a professional came in this PGA Championship over a period of 18 years. Here's an evolutionary look at Jack in that period. In 1963 at Dallas, 1971 at Palm Beach Gardens, 1973 at Canterbury in Cleveland, 1975 at Firestone in Akron, and 1980 at Oak Hill in Rochester. Jack is the architect of this Shoal Creek course.
7 under.
Well, thank you very much, Bob. Congratulations to Wayne Grady, who came into this championship having won about $194,000 this year. He picks up, besides that trophy, a check for $225,000. So that was a very good week of work for the Australian, who now lives in Orlando. His first major championship and second victory. As you take a look down the leaderboard in the 72nd PGA Championship at Shoal Creek. I'm Roger Twyville. For all of us on the ABC Golf team, thanks for being with us. The executive producer of the 1990 PGA Championship is Jeffrey Mason. Today's golf was produced by Terry Jastro, directed by Jim Jeanette. Replay director Bob Lanning. Technical directors Gary Larkins and Doug Schmidt. Associate producers Jack Graham and Jim Ressler. Associate director Jaime Bravo. Well, there aren't any better pictures and people who operate behind the scenes than our folks here at ABC, and you're taking a look at all of their names right now. And once again, to Wink Gunther, who's recovering from some health problems. He's home now. We'll look forward to seeing you back on the golf circuit real soon, Wink. And to all those people right there, we thank you very much for your help in our coverage of golf here on ABC.
The New York Giants tackle the Buffalo Bills in an NFL preseason special. Now stay tuned for your local news and World News Sunday over most of these ABC stations. The 1990 PGA Championship has been brought to you by USF&G Insurance. Protecting your business, home, auto, and life. USF&G, standing behind the USA. by the Milford Plaza, one of New York's finest hotels. And by Callaway. Callaway S2H2 metal woods and irons for the most solid feel in golf. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.
The dictionary defines champion as a warrior, a fighter, a militant advocate, or a defender. One who does battle for another's rights or honor. One that holds first place and first prize in a contest, especially in sports. One who fights superior to all others. In 1987, at the Oak Hills Country Club in San Antonio, the warrior Tom Watson had a one-stroke lead after bogeying 16. But he parred 17 and birdied 18 for a $360,000 payday. In 1988, Pebble Beach provided the perfect backdrop, a playoff. Tom Kite and Curtis Strange. Strange fought back and birdied the famous par 3 17th. Last year, another playoff, this time at Hilton Head. This time, Tom Kite prevailed over Payne Stewart on the second sudden death hole. Tom Kite, superior to all others. It's year 4 of the Nabisco Golf Championship. ESPN welcomes you. It's Nabisco Golf 1990. Downtown Houston, Texas. Houston, home to the Oilers, the Rockets, the Astros, and the University of Houston. The Champions Golf Club, founded by Jackie Burke Jr. and the late Jimmy DeMeritt in 1957. Former home of the Ryder Cup. The United States Open was here in 1969. And this year, the $2.5 million Nabisco Golf Championship. It's only fitting that Champions Golf Club has found such an important place in golf, considering it was the lifelong dream of 2 of the game's most prominent figures. Champions, from its origin back in 1957, has consistently carved its place in golf history, and the Cypress Creek course, designed by Ralph Plummer and opened for play in 1959, with over 70,000 trees, wide fairways, and enormous greens. It, of course, remains today one of America's premier tournament sites, and this is one of the premier tournaments, the $2.5 million Nabisco Golf Championships. Earlier today, Ian Baker Finch, who started off the day at even par, had a birdie at 2, another at 3, a bogey at 7, then an eagle try out at the par 5 9th. This to go 3 under par. Sliding left to right, rolling, and yes! Ian Baker Finch 3 under at the turn, 2 off the lead, held by Billy Mayfair and by Jodie Mudd. Then at the par 4 10th hole. This was Ian Baker Finch's second shot, 209 to the stick. Up to within birdie range again, the best second shot we've seen in a day and a half. Another birdie try that could take that man to 4 under par. Meanwhile, Jodie Mudd has just bogeyed out of the par 4 7th to fall back to 4 under par. So Billy Mayfair is your new leader by 1. He began the day at 2 under, trailing Simpson and Norman by 3. And the rest of the leaders, Beck at 3 under, Norman at 3 under, Simpson back to 3 under, Jacobson trailing by 3. Davis Love at 1 under par at the turn. Gil Morgan at even, along with defending champion Tom Kite, and Bob Tway also at even par. And as we say hello from Champions, Bob Murphy's alongside. Hi again, everybody. The dictionary defines champion as a warrior, a fighter, a militant advocate, or a defender. One who does battle for another's rights or honor. One that holds first place and first prize in a contest, especially in sports. One who fights superior to all others. In 1987, at the Oak Hills Country Club in San Antonio, the Warrior Tom Watson had a one-stroke lead after bogeying 16. But he parred 17 and birdied 18 for a $360,000 payday. In 1988, Pebble Beach provided the perfect backdrop, a playoff. Tom Kite and Curtis Strange. Strange fought back and birdied the famous par 3 17th. Last year, another playoff. This time at Hilton Head. This time, Tom Kite prevailed over Payne Stewart on the second sudden death hole. Tom Kite, superior to all others. It's year 4 of the Nabisco Golf Championship. ESPN welcomes you. It's Nabisco Golf 1990. Downtown Houston, Texas. Houston, home of the Oilers, the Astros, and the Rockets. And the Champions Golf Club, founded by Jackie Burke and Jimmy Demerit. Champions, home to the 1967 Ryder Cup and the 1969 United States Open. And home of the $2.5 million Nabisco Golf Championship. Yesterday, at the par 4 10th, Greg Norman's second shot. The Shark with 4 birdies, 4 bogeys, and even par 71. He starts off today at 5 under par. At the par 5 9th, Chip Beck's second shot. He would eagle the 9th en route to a 3 under 68. He starts out today at 5 under par. Jodie Mudd. He won the Players' Championship earlier this year. A birdie try at number 9. He's at 5 under par, 2 off the lead. At the par 4 17th, Nick Price, his second shot. Great shot making like that. Price at 6 under par. He trails by just 1. Billy Mayfair on the tee at the par 3 16th. 6 birdies, 1 bogey, a 5 under 66 yesterday. He starts out the day at 7 under par. He leads at the halfway point as the ex-U.S. Amateur champ goes for his first win. But 8 golfers within 6 shots of the lead, 36 holes to go. It is only fitting that the Champions Golf Club has found such an important place in golf, considering it was the lifelong dream of 2 of the game's more prominent figures, Burke and Demerit. From its origins, Champions, of course, has consistently carved its place in golf history. First the Ryder Cup in '67, then the U.S. Open in '69. And the Cypress Creek course, designed by Ralph Plummer, opened for play in 1959. Over 70,000 trees, wide fairways, enormous greens. One of America's premier tournament sites. And this, one of the tour's premier stops. The $2.5 million Nabisco Championships. Moments ago, Jodie Mudd, a birdie try at the par 4 10th to go 9 under par. When the day dawned, he was 2 off Billy Mayfair's lead. Just to within 18 inches, and he would tap in to stay at 8 under par, 1 up over Chip Beck and Billy Mayfair. Jodie Mudd, the leader by 1. Moments ago, Chip Beck. Birdie try. And that brought Beck to within 1 stroke of the lead. Beck and Mayfair at 7 under par. Jodie Mudd, your leader, at 8 under. Nick Price at 6 under par. And Ian Baker Finch, he's 4 under today. He's drawn to within 3. Greg Norman, the Shark, looming right there in the hunt at 4 under par. Tim Simpson is also 4 under par, off to a terrific start after some problems yesterday. And he just birdied now at 12 to go 5 under par. Simpson did, so he's only 3 off the lead. Elkington, who lives right here at Champions, at 2 under. Wayne Levy at 1 under. Azinger in the hunt.
He had a problem out at number 11, or he'd be at 2 under par. Peter Jacobsen at -1, and the PGA champion also, Wayne Grady, at 1 under par. And as we say hello again from Champions, Bob Murphy's alongside. Hi again, everybody. I'm Jim Kelly.